Hey, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Melissa Frey here at Alaska's News Source, and we're just getting information from the city of Kotzebue that they are issuing mandatory evacuations due to this large fall storm that we've been covering all week. Again, we were expecting a significant storm surge, and now we are beginning to see some of that high water arriving. So again, breaking news at this hour that Kotzebue is being asked to evacuate. I want to show you some video from Nome today. This is out just south of Nome along Nome Council Road, where you can see that's pretty angry looking Bering Sea that is already starting to push up higher than we would typically expect with a normal high tide line. So again, not seeing any flooding in Nome yet, but we do have some early reports that there is flooding reaching some of the lower lying roads in Kotzebue, which is when they do start to issue mandatory evacuations. So again, just getting preliminary information. Again, this is video from Nome, but just north of here in Kotzebue is where they are asking folks to evacuate. We're going to take a look at the tide gauge there in Kotzebue to show you those water levels here. You can really see just over the past couple of hours how that water has climbed significantly, pushing up into that minor flood stage. That did happen here. You can see it about 1 o'clock this morning. And then it has just reached over that moderate flood stage as of about noon. So just in the last hour, we have seen the water levels in Kotzebue reach that 4-foot mark. The water here is dictated somewhat by the tide. So of course, when it is high tide, we'll see that water pushing in even further. But this is just the beginning of this event. Again, these flood warnings do continue all the way through Friday morning. So we do still have some significant time for that water to rise, because we are still seeing high winds in this area. So peak gusts so far today have been between 50 and 80 miles per hour, and that is literally pushing the surface of the ocean inland. So you can see right there along the coast in Kotzebue, peak wind gusts is 47 miles per hour. In Nome at 51, there in Bethel at 58 miles per hour. But those are just at the airport locations. Now, as you head inland into some locations, even at higher elevations, we've seen wind gusts as high as 80 miles per hour here, both early this morning and late last night. So again, as those winds push across the surface of the ocean, it carries the water with it. And so that is why we do have the concerns for flooding and for a storm surge event. So flood warnings have been in effect now for multiple days because of that potential for flooding in the area, and those are still in effect through Friday morning, and those high wind warnings are still in effect all the way through this afternoon as well. So again, if you're just joining us, we are getting news that Kotzebue is being evacuated because of high water beginning to reach those lower lying roads. So they do have the gymnasium is open there at the local high school. They do have transportation assistance. It is available for elders and people with disabilities. If you need that information, you can call the local Kotzebue dispatch. That number is 442-3351. If you are not watching from Western Alaska and perhaps in a spot that's not being impacted here by this storm, maybe check in with your friends and family if they're on the West Coast. Make sure that they're getting this important information and that they are in a place to stay safe. So again, City of Kotzebue has issued that mandatory evacuation order due to the incoming storm surge. They are asking that everyone does get to a safe place and make sure that they are no longer in their homes because of that high water pushing in. The good news is it is during the day, so we do have some daylight. They do have local emergency officials are actually meeting as we speak, so we're hoping to get some additional information from them. But again, you can see these flood warnings They are in effect, and we're just starting to get some initial storm reports coming in from places like Scammon Bay and from Chivac. Boats already being lost due to the high water. They're seeing some peak wind gusts in the surrounding areas here this afternoon. So again, we're just starting to see some more of those more significant impacts because of the coastal flooding that we're seeing in the area. And as this wind continues to develop here through the afternoon and continue to push that water inland, here's some of the storm surge amounts that we are looking at. Again, you can see from the Arctic coast all the way down into the YK Delta region is where we're looking at that surface of the water to inundate these local coastal communities. So you can see in a 7 to 11 foot storm surge in Unalakleet, 7 to 10 feet there in Kotzebue. That is where we do have evacuations in place. But you can see most of the west coast there impacted by this wind today that is going to again inundate these communities. So just again to give you some examples of what that means for Kivalina. We are going to see at risk of flooding the local school, the tank farms there. Most roads are likely to be inundated with water, and the water pump station is likely to be underwater. Again, in Kotzebue, where we've already started to see that high water reaching those coastal roads, things that are impacted are not only local residences, but things like the post office, teacher housing, the North Tent City Fish Camp is likely to see impacts again, and this is why we are seeing evacuation orders being issued. So again, if you are in this area that is highlighted in green, it's really important that you are prepared for flooding pushing in. Kotzebue is asking people to evacuate to the school. If needed, people can shelter in place with shelter and food if they do have a safe place to be. But of course, you have to make that individual choice for yourself. That is specifically for Kotzebue. The fire department says that they will only that they are prepared and they're ready to serve people as needed. So again, we're continuing to gather information from local officials there about any help, additional help that's needed. But again, they are prepared and ready. Looking at some of the comments here on Facebook, hearing in your hometown of Kivalina, Risa writing with us saying the waves are big, seeing high winds there, gusts to 51 miles per hour. And it looks like some water even pushing over some of the rock embankment there. A lot of folks have connections to these villages here along the western side of the state. Again, we want everyone to stay safe and to have this important information. So check in with your friends and family. Make sure if you are in a place like Kotzebue, if you're in a place that is seeing high water coming in, make sure that you are checking with your neighbors, you're checking with your friends. Again, for folks that are seniors or disabilities, they do have assistance available to respond to those people. So make sure that information is getting passed on to them, that you are calling local Kotzebue dispatch, again, if you do need additional help. So thank you everyone again for tuning in, letting us know what the conditions are like in your area. This is a developing situation. We've been tracking this storm here for several days, but this is really the critical time. Again, when we are seeing those high winds, that long stream of moisture pushing through, rain is not a concern today, and the wind will even taper off in the second half of the day today. So it may be a little deceiving. You go, gosh, it's not as sort of nasty out here today as it was yesterday. But this is when it gets critical, because that's when we start to see that storm surge event happen. So we are monitoring this in real time. We have multiple reporters working on this, gathering information from the western side of the state. If you are there in your safe place and you happen to have a video of what the impacts are like in your community, we'd appreciate if you shared that with us. You can do that on our website. You can do it on our news and weather apps pretty easily if you have access to that at this time. Also, if you're seeing any real significant impacts, you can call our newsroom as well, and we'll get that information out to people. So again, stay tuned with us, and we'll continue to give you those live updates as we're tracking this impressive storm that is making its way up here across the west coast. Again, if you're just joining us, we got information just about an hour ago that Kotzebue is evacuating its residents. They do have the high school open. They have resources available to respond to people as needed. And again, the high school's open, but also they say you can shelter in place if you know you're in a safe place, it's not going to be flooded, and you have food and resources to stay safe there through the night. So again, we're just at the beginning of this event that's likely going to continue through the night and into tomorrow morning. Keep it tuned right here to Alaska's News Source. We'll get you those live updates here throughout the afternoon. And right now, as I mentioned, those Kotzebue officials are meeting, so hopefully we'll get some fresh information from them and from other communities in Western Alaska. Until then, we'll see you back here.